Hi everyone, my name is Nosvele Kamganamayava and welcome to my YouTube channel. So guys, I'm so sorry that I've been very quiet. The last video was just almost 2 weeks ago and I promised so many things that we're going to cover, but a lot has been happening. The first thing is that we recently launched my book. What I mean about that is that my book is available in South Africa. We are delivering all over the country. Well, not me specifically, but we are using a courier to deliver all over the country. I would like to thank you for your support. I have had great reviews. Some people are finishing the book overnight, over a day, over 2 days. And I'm like, guys, this book is not like 100 pages. It's like 400 pages, actually even more. But the feedback that we've been receiving is that, they can't put it down. It's addictive. You constantly want to know what is going to happen. That is music to my ears. Yeah, I'd like to thank you for allowing me the space to tell my story my own way. As I always say, I never, sought out to be an inspiration or a motivational speaker, but I always just wanted to tell my story my own way. And the fact that you have welcomed all of that, I really appreciate it. I could never literally thank you enough. Everyone that has ordered the book, I really appreciate you. And if you'd like to order the book here in South Africa, please make sure that you go to our website, www.nozikamgana.com. If you're out of the country, we have not forgotten about you. We are working, my team and I are working on having the book online. We will be sharing those details very soon. Unfortunately, I don't have the date, but just rest assured that we have not forgotten about you. So that's one thing. And then the second thing is, so just over a week ago, I heard news that my dad passed away. He lost his battle with cancer. So what was I doing actually? I was at home, I think, busy preparing for like delivering the books and making sure that they're going to the right addresses when I got a phone call from actually my brother sent me a WhatsApp message and said, call me urgently. And I thought to myself, it's one of those things where he's gonna, tell me something, it's not really important. And I told him, listen, I'm busy with something, I'm gonna call you back. And then just a few minutes after that, there was a WhatsApp group that my siblings and I created because my dad was going to celebrate his 70th birthday this year. So we wanted to surprise him with a birthday party. And so a message came through on that WhatsApp message. And I almost didn't look at it because the group had been very quiet for quite some time and thought to myself, no, I'm going to look at it later. But anyway, so I looked at it a few minutes after that, and the message just said Mr. So-and-so had passed away. And I'm like, school, by the way, was at work at that point in time. So I was left alone in the house. Listen, I was shocked. Probably my neighbors thought like, this one is going crazy. Like, what the hell is going on? I was just shocked. I didn't expect it because I had literally spoken to him a couple of weeks before and we were busy talking about, how his treatment is going, when he's going to see the doctor again. And he was like talking like, oh, don't worry, like the treatment is going well. I was not okay for quite some time, but now I'm okay. And I'm going to the doctor very soon just to check up on how I'm doing. But overall, I'm feeling okay. And that gave me the perception that like all is well. There was never an indication that he was not doing well. And the reason also why it was quite a shock was because, I know my dad, like, we've been through a lot together, but also as a family. And dad had dodged so many bullets, like he's been through a lot. So when I heard that he was diagnosed with cancer just over a year ago, yes, it did like shock me, but I was like, listen, dad is going to be fine. He's been through the worst. So cancer is nothing. So I did not at any point think in my mind dad was going to pass away. He was going to lose this battle with cancer. So I think that's what really broke me the most. I'm like, no, man, it can't be. It really cannot be. Even when School and I were going to PE for the funeral, because obviously everything had to happen really fast because of the COVID-19 pandemic and the regulations and the lockdown. So everything had to happen really quickly. We had to go down to Port Elizabeth for the funeral. Even when I was going to PE, I was still in a fuzz, like in a really weird space. It felt like I was going for a family gathering of some sort, like a celebration or a party, or my dad is calling us for a meeting. It never occurred to me that really I'm going to my dad's funeral. Up until like on the day of the funeral, and I had already made up my mind, by the way, that I don't want to see like the body, because obviously on the day of the funeral you get to see the body, view the body, I guess for closure or whatever. And I had already told School, I'm like, I don't think I want to see the body, because I feel like I want to have a certain perception of how my dad looked and how my dad was, that I feel like if I see the body, it's just going to break me. But School was like, I'm a bit worried about you because I don't think like anything is registered, and I know how much your dad meant to you. So I feel like you need to look like really say goodbye for the last time by viewing the body so that you can have that closure. So anyway, I went to view the body, and that's when it really registered. I'm like, no man, this guy is gone. Like just like that, it's really gone. But anyway, I will be doing like a whole separate video in terms of just my reflection and where am I at in terms of that, and just share some funny moments, how I remember it, because for some reason right after that I remember like certain conversations that we had, and yeah, also some very funny moments also from the funeral that I thought were worth sharing. So yeah, but anyway guys, that is not the point for this video. This video I had promised that I will be covering treatment, my journey with treatment, my journey with ARVs, because I've been getting a lot of questions regarding, have I had side effects? Is this normal for when you're in treatment, when you're on treatment? What kind of treatment am I on? How long have I been on treatment? And all of those things. And I thought to myself, this is actually a good follow-up video, so that anyone who's not, strong enough to come forward and ask me these questions can listen to the video and hopefully get, useful information. But I want to be very clear that when it comes to such a topic, it's very sensitive, because I am not a doctor. I never went to medical school or anything like that. So everything that I'm going to share on this video is going to be based on my own experience and my own research. But at the end of the day, I really encourage you to please visit a doctor or a nearest clinic if you have any other questions, or anything that I didn't cover, or anything that you think you do not understand. It will really be helpful if you really go to a doctor at the nearest clinic. So yeah, I just want to make it very clear. And also, when it comes to this video, because I am not a doctor, one of the things that I have been very careful about when I advise people, or when we speak about, ARVs or any related topic relating to HIV, I always want to make it as simple as possible, because I feel like we get stuck in this jargon and all of those things that it ends up confusing everyone. So I'm going to be as very simple as possible, so that I make sure that the information gets across. So for all those very technical people, this is not going to be that video, because I don't think at the end of the day that really helps us. So before I go into the questions that you sent me, let me first talk about, briefly about my journey with ARVs, when I started, and yeah, just share some of the side effects that I had. So just to recap, I was diagnosed HIV positive August of 2013. Back at that point in time, the regulations from World Health Organization said that people that are needed to start treatment are people that had a CD4 count of less than 350. What do you mean about CD4 CD4 count. CD4 count is basically is a measurement of how strong your immune system is. It is a measurement of white blood cells in your body. So white blood cells are cells that fight off infections, viruses in your body. So when we talk about CD4 count, it is a measurement of how many white blood cells are in your body, right? So, and then we often talk about also about viral load. When I mean about viral load, it is a measurement of how much of the virus is in your system. So whenever someone talks about those things, please, I'm hoping this is now clear. CD4 count is a measurement of white blood cells. White blood cells are cells that fight off infection, and viral load is the measurement of how much of the virus is in your body. So the World Health Organization said only people that had a CD4 count of less than 350 needed to start treatment, because it categorized those people as more of being, at a disadvantage, or their immune system is really, really compromised. Not saying that when you have a CD4 count of more than 350, or CD4 count, if you had a CD4 count of more than 350, you're not compromised. But in comparison with people that have less than 350, then they really, really need to be on treatment. So when I was diagnosed, I didn't need to be on treatment. In fact, my CD4 count was about just above 600, so it was relatively healthy. I was okay, and my doctor said you don't need to start treatment. And then late 2015, after world leaders and medical practitioners and medical experts met, and they decided now, no, we're gonna have a new policy. It's going to be test and treat. What they mean about that is that anyone who has tested HIV positive, or who's going to test HIV positive, they need to start treatment regardless of their CD4 count, regardless of their viral load. So my doctor called me and said, "Lady, you need to start treatment." And I was like, my CD4 count is above 600. Thank you very much. I don't need to start treatment. It's like, it is law that you need to basically start treatment. And I was like, okay, from what you have told me, when you start treatment, it is very, very important that you're in a very, good space mentally. Because then if you start treatment, you need to realize that it's going to be a lifetime commitment. You can't start treatment like this year, and then next year you decide, I don't want to be on treatment anymore, because you are causing resistance in your body. In other words, if you start treatment now and then you keep on taking treatment and not taking treatment, you are causing your body now to start rejecting the treatment, to a point where when you start treatment again, the treatment that you were in or you were on will not longer work. So I told my daughters, like, I don't think I'm in the right space. This was 2015. I don't think I'm in the right space. For that reason, I'm not gonna start treatment now. Okay. And he was like, okay, it's your decision. You're gonna have to now choose what you want, which is very, very important, because this is one thing that I would like to make clear, because I have been an advocate for people to start treatment and making sure that they're on ARVs. But what I've missed is that making people understand that taking treatment is a choice. You may never ever be forced into a situation where you have to start treatment. It has to be a choice that you make. Okay, so I started my treatment beginning of 2017. So I started my treatment. He wrote me a script. I went to the pharmacy. By the way, the reason why he wrote me a script was because obviously I'm on medical aid. Some people may be taking their treatment in public hospitals or in public clinics. In that case, you do not need to have any script, because you're going to get the medication for free in the hospitals or clinics. So I took the medical aid route, the private route. So he gave me a script. I went to the pharmacy, and I started taking treatment immediately. This was beginning of 2017. So he had warned me, though, as soon as he gave me, the script, that you might, experience some fuzziness or some dizziness, nausea. Do expect it, because what you have to understand is that you are taking something that is foreign in your body. It is very new. Your body is not used to it. So what it's doing basically when you're taking the treatment, the first instinct that your body has is to fight back what is getting inside the body, in this case, the treatment, up until a certain point where it realizes, hang on a sec, this is actually something familiar. This is actually something that is here to help, my immune system and all of that. So I experienced nausea. I experienced slight headaches. I experienced dizziness. But he had actually, once again, had warned me and actually wrote a script for me to go to the pharmacy to get nausea pills. So he said to me, let me wait it out for about a month. After a month, I should be fine. And really, that was the case. After a month, I was back to my normal self. I no longer had the nausea, I no longer had the dizziness or the slight headaches, but also the pills that he gave me for the nausea and the dizziness really helped. So to be honest, from that point in 2017 up until now, those are the only side effects that I have had when it comes to treatment. But I do realize, obviously, I am a very rare case. One of the lucky ones, if you want to call it like that, because some people have had worse. And this is what what we are going to basically discuss. And what causes some of the side effects? Is it normal? What can you do? So I asked a couple of people to send me questions. I want to, start with the easy questions and then go over to the more difficult questions where we're going to discuss further. So one person asked me, which pills am I using? So I'm using Trenovir. I hope you can see it. My one is made out of 600 milligrams of effervescence, 200 milligrams of emtricitabine, and 300 milligrams of tenofovir, right? So inside, they look like this. Someone asked me, why do ARVs do not look the same? The simplest way to answer this is, if you had to think about painkillers, right? If you have a headache or you have some kind of pain in your body, you take painkillers, right? But there are different versions of painkillers, but they do the same thing. And more or less, the ingredients are the same. So in South Africa, we mostly use Panadol or what do you call Adcodol, right? It's basically the same thing, but the dosage is going to be different. I'll give you an example. So when I looked up Panadol and its ingredients, it says its ingredients are aspirin, paracetamol, and caffeine. That's Panadol. And then when it comes to Adcodol, the same ingredients, paracetamol, caffeine, and prostate, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. If I'm not, I'm sorry. I'm not a doctor, as I said, okay? So the reason why you may take one over the other, it depends on how big or how painful your headache is or the pain in your body. It's the same with ARVs. Let's not try to complicate it. If you are for example, in my case, I was more, I'll say, healthy because my CD4 count and viral load were quite good. So I did not need to be given a more aggressive ARVs. So I was given a more first line ARVs just to make sure I stay healthy. For someone who's in a more disadvantaged or in a more worse condition than I am, they may be given something stronger to compensate the position or the situation that they're in. Similar to painkillers. If you have a slight headache, then you'll take Disprin or you take Grandpa or whatever the case may be. But if it's a really, really bad headache, then you'll take Adcodol. It's the very same thing. That's how simple I can really explain it. And I hope it's quite clear. So the other question that I was asked is, can you change the dosage without consulting your doctor? No. The fact that you were given this dosage by the doctor, there was a reason. So what the doctor does in a more perfect situation, but I realize that this varies from one hospital or one doctor to the next. But before the doctor can prescribe the ARV, they need to look at your blood. They need to look at your CD4 count. They need to look at your viral load. And then from there on, after assessing that, as I I said, if you are more okay, if you're still healthy, they won't prescribe something that is more aggressive. They'll most probably prescribe you something that is more first-line basis. And then if you're far off, or you are in a far worse situation, they'll prescribe something far worse. To change that dosage, let's say you're having really, really bad side effects, even then you still need to speak to your doctor. Then your doctor can assess whether you are reacting to one of the ingredients in the ARVs, and then they can prescribe something different, because there are different brands, there are different manufacturers, but they're all the same thing. So to answer your question, no, you cannot prescribe or change your dosage without the doctor's consultation. You have to consult the doctor. So have I forgotten to take my pills? Yes. I'll be very honest, especially when I started, I did not have an alarm or anything like that. So I did sometimes, forget to take my pills, and then I'll basically remember like the following day. And yeah, I really have forgotten my pills, but over time it gets better. But obviously you put in systems in place, making sure that you have an alarm that will remind you to take your pills at 8 or at 7, at 9, whatever the case may be. But to answer your question, yes, I have forgotten to take my pills sometimes. What can I take multivitamins with ARVs? So there's nothing wrong with multivitamins, but once again, anything like anything, pills or anything like that, multivitamins that you are going to take, it is very important that you make sure that you consult with a doctor. Similar to someone that is, taking treatment for diabetes, taking treatment for high blood pressure, whatever the case may be, any kind of treatment, if you're going to take something else, you have to consult with the doctor to see if it's going to affect your treatment. So in this case, any type of multivitamins, please make sure that you consult your doctor to see if they are correct for you. But in most cases, so regarding this question, the reason why it's asked a lot is because people often say, something that is going to assist their ARVs and make you more healthy. Sometimes I don't understand this, because ARVs are supposed to make you healthy, they do not need any assistance from any other pills, but if you want to take pills, that's fine. Once again, consult with the doctor. Some people have said, they're taking multivitamins, as I said, to keep healthy, but doctors and medical practitioners have said, if you eat healthy, all the nutrients that you need are going to come naturally from the food that you eat. So if you look into what you eat and make sure that you eat healthy, then there's no supplement or there are no multivitamins that you need to add on top of the ARVs that you take. So once again, to answer your question, if any multivitamins that you want to take, please consult with the doctor. So what tips can you give to take ARVs, because they're quite big? I understand, this is a huge pill, okay? So if you sometimes, when you take the pill and it gets stuck in your throat, because that does happen. So sometimes you can take a piece of bread, similar to how it happens. I know Disprin does that with me. When I take Disprin and then it gets stuck here. So I take a piece of bread and then down it with water on top of the ARVs. That helps, to bring it down. But also similar how do you crush other pills, Disprin, any other painkiller or any pill that you take, or even with the Disprin, how you sometimes take hot water and put it on a spoon and put your Disprin so that it dissolves. In a similar case, in this case, you can crush your ARVs. So take a big spoon, crush your ARVs, and then take them. It's a similar thing. So that is a tip if you are having trouble taking ARVs, because sometimes they're big and they get stuck. When you go out, do you take them? So yes, I always make sure that I have a couple in my bag. So for example, when I am going, when I used to go overseas on trips, so I'll have this whole package, let's say in my luggage that's gonna go, with the plane, whatever. I go with the plane as well, but you know what I mean. the whole big luggage, and then in my hand luggage I'll take like a small plastic, and put in like 2 or 3, because also in most cases, like when I went overseas, there's different time zones, so I have to always be mindful of that. But I always make sure that, you know, my phone is on, I charge it on the phone, so I'm sorry, on the plane, so that I see what time it is. So I usually had a few of my pills inside my handbag. So this is something that might help you also if you're out partying, if you're at a party, making sure that you don't need to bring like the whole bottle, just a few, you know, in your bag, in your little plastic. And then similar how you go to the bathroom and pee, around 8 o'clock, or whenever you take your pills, you can go to the bathroom and take your pills. Simple as that. Okay, so can you mix ARVs with alcohol? Let me ask. So whenever I'm asked this question, I ask a question back. Can you mix alcohol with any other medication that you take? Right? If no, then you can't mix ARVs with alcohol, because it's the same thing. We have been advised that we cannot mix medication with alcohol. Similar how you cannot mix, as I said, high blood pressure pills with alcohol. It's a similar case in when it comes to ARVs. You cannot mix them with alcohol. I'm not saying that you can't have alcohol, like obviously a glass of wine or whatever the case may be. Like, I'm sure, I don't drink, I'm just saying that for people who drink a glass of wine, I'm definitely sure it is acceptable. But obviously, like any other, you know, warning that you get about alcohol, anything excessive might do further damage. So you just need to be careful about that. Taking them at 8, is there a reason for this? So 8 is really something that was advised. It does not mean that you have to take them at 8. Everyone has to take them at 8. The reason why you take them at night is because there are side effects when it comes to ARVs, which we're going to get into now after this question. There are side effects when it comes to ARVs. One of them, as I said, dizziness, nausea, you know, slight headaches. So taking them at night, you know, just before you sleep, allows you to sleep off, you know, the side effects. It helps you, rather than taking them in the middle of the day and then you still need to work and you still need to perform 100%, you still need to be productive. By the time you wake up in the morning, all of those side effects should be gone. Do you get what I mean? And then when it comes to now, can I take them at 7, and then the following day can I take them at 8, and then the following day can I take them at 11, or like at 1 a.m. or whatever the case may be? I'm gonna ask you a question. So anyone who is taking contraceptive pills, right? What is like the advised procedure when you're taking, you know, contraceptives? We know when you're taking contraceptives, like an hour, a day, or much later on that the prescribed time or your time, you risk now, you know, getting pregnant, correct? That is correct. So it's the same thing as ARVs. If you take them like a day later or a couple of hours later, you are risking now the virus multiplying in your body. The only difference is with the contraceptives, you are going to see like the results after 9 months, because you're going to have a child. In this case with the ARVs, you may not see like the results immediately, but it is there. That's what sometimes confuses people. So someone will be like, I'm not taking ARVs, or I missed like a couple of days without taking ARVs and I was fine. You are going to be fine. You're not going to see them immediately, but after a couple of months or even a year, when you're becoming resistant to the drug, when when the drug is no longer working in your body, that is when you're going to see that you missing those, you know, those couple of days really has an effect. So that is what you know, the discussion around times, taking them at a prescribed time and making sure that you stick to that. As I said, making sure that you have an alarm is really, really helpful, so that you don't forget, similar to how we take our contraceptives. Okay, so just before we go into side effects, someone asked me, my viral load has been up and down. What could be the cause for this? So what I'm going to ask you is, have you been taking your treatment consistently? If you have, then I don't see a reason why it should be up and down. I really would advise that you actually just speak to your doctor, because it shouldn't be up and down if you are taking it consistently every day at the same time, and you're not missing any days, or you're not missing your treatment, then I don't know what could be the medical reason for that. Please make sure that you consult with the doctor, because they may have to do some tests. Maybe you are reacting to the medication, I don't know. So please make sure that you visit your doctor. So now I'm going to go into side effects. So some of them I'm going to group together because they're more or less like similar. So someone asked me about weight, someone asked me about mood swings, and then someone asked me also about losing sleep, not having sleep anymore because of ARVs. So it is true. As I said, any medication, what we have to be very clear, ARVs, guys, are not special. They like to think they're special, but they're not. Okay? They are not special. They are like any other treatment that anyone else takes. For example, when it comes, I mean, this is a obvious example from what I spoke to about earlier on. So let's talk about cancer, for example. How chemo treats me and how it treats the other person is going to be different. It may be effective with me, it may be not effective to the other person. It all boils down to your immune system, how you react to the medication. So as I said, with me, me losing and gaining weight and all of that, I'll be honest that it has nothing to do with ARVs. It's more has to do with my eating habits. But with other people, they have seen like effects when it comes to redistribution of fat. So for example, I am more, well, how can I say this? I am more slimmer. I have a smaller upper body, so I usually wear a small or medium, like in my upper body, and then lower body, I'm mostly like, yeah, my butt, my hips, and my legs are on a different world of their own. So in some cases, if someone is built like me, sometimes ARVs does that, where it redistributes the fat. Like over time, I see myself having more boobs than usual. I have like more bigger arms, and I don't have any butt anymore, and I have like stick legs like underneath. It does happen. So it's part of, unfortunately, the journey of being with the ARVs. But I always say, if these side effects really persist, once again, please be open with your doctor, so that you can see if they cannot change you to a different dosage, or if they can change you into, as I said, into a different brand that may have lesser side effects. But in terms of losing weight, in terms of losing sleep, in terms of mood swings, it does happen, similar with any other medication. So I would advise you just to consult with your doctor. And then someone said, does it affect your pH level? Because she had like weird discharge out of her vagina. So she wanted to ask, like, have I experienced that? I haven't really. The only sometimes discharge like I notice is when I don't drink a lot of water. But then as soon as I drink a lot of water, and it's sometimes smelly. So when I drink a lot of water, then it goes away. And then I also drink a couple of like really nice teas, like mint tea, green tea. It really helps in like taking out the toxic things out of my body, because I eat a lot of nonsense. So it takes out all the toxic things out of my body, and after that I'm really fine. The only thing that I've noticed, but it has nothing to do with the ARVs, is sometimes when I'm close to having my periods, I would have like a pimple, like a really small pimple on the lips of my vagina, right? Or sometimes when I too much information. But sometimes when I haven't shaved, and then I'll have that pimple. But as soon as I have my periods or as soon as I've shaved, like it disappears. So I haven't really had any pH level, things that I've noticed because of ARVs or anything like that. So, any bad dreams? No. Like, I'll have 1 or 2 bad dreams. But let me say this also, guys. When taking ARVs, we have to also be mindful that sometimes it's also about like the mind itself, not really about the side effects of ARVs. Now, I'm not downplaying like the side effects, but I also ask a lot of people, like, just tell me, where are you at in terms of like, psychologically, where you at? Are you still struggling to come to terms, with the fact that you're HIV positive and the fact that you now have to take ARVs? Because in most cases, those bad dreams and all of those things are caused by that, not per se the ARVs. So with me, I have not really had bad dreams unless like there's something really bothering me. For example, I know in this case I had when my dad passed away, and just a couple of days before we left for PE, then I really had, I woke up very uneasy, and my chest was like really painful, like my heart was beating faster than usual. But I knew it was not about ARVs. It's just the headspace I was in was just very not so great. So in most cases, like, just be mindful of that it's not entirely sometimes about ARVs, but about the psychological part of being, HIV positive and having to take ARVs. Do they make you, the last question is, do they make you less wet when sexual? No. I don't know why I'm sometimes giggling when I talk about sex. Lord help me. So I have not like experienced any of that. Yeah, no, I haven't experienced any of that. If you have, just see if it's something new after you've been taking ARVs, or it's something that is not new, but you have not really been noticing, before. But once again, if it really persists, then really, really speak to your doctor. And there are many options. There are many different, brands out there, manufacturers of ARVs, many different dosages that you can change it into. So yeah, guys, I really hope that this has been really helpful. Once again, I cannot stress this enough. All of what I have shared in this video has been based on my own experience and also has been based on my own research. But if you need further information, please make sure that you go to your doctor or your nearest clinic. They're the ones that are going to provide you with further information. So until next time, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah, I'll see you next time.